So you've been through the stress of finding a property, you've waded through the legal process, the conveyancing, and now finally, moving day has arrived. What could possibly go wrong? Surely nothing. Well, keep watching if you dare for my unlucky 13 house moving horror stories. Well, let's kick off with number one. Number one is rogue removers. I'm sure many of you have heard stories about the fly-by-night movers who treat your precious belongings like they're bin men doing a double shift and then turn out not to have insurance or even fail to turn up at all. So it really is worth making sure that you choose a removal company with proper references, professional packing materials and full insurance. Your second scary scene is nowhere for the removal van to park. You forgot that ensuring there's somewhere to unload is actually your responsibility. Whether that's reserving a space or getting a parking permit from the council, your removals team needs somewhere close by to base themselves. So do make the necessary parking arrangements well ahead of time. You definitely don't want to see that van heading off down the street like a bat out of hell. Now, if you haven't already got one of our property reports on your new home, then do get one now using the link below. It'll give you insights into so many aspects of not just your future home and new area, but it'll help you avoid stumbling around in a blind panic on the day. There is a domestic disaster that I'm sure every Brit can relate to, and that is the case of the missing kettle. You and your belongings have arrived at your new home, and you could all do with a cuppa and a biscuit. The kettle is lost in a sea of boxes. Even worse, the phone chargers and the bottle opener are also missing in action. So I'd suggest always packing an essentials box. Keep it with you in the car. Kettle, mugs, tea, coffee, sugar, milk, teaspoon, biscuits, phone chargers, and a bottle opener for a toast when you finally get to sit down. Oh, and don't forget the loo paper as well. Your next house moving dread is the dark and stormy night, or at least a dark and stormy day anyway. Howling winds and lashing rain mean muddy carpets and soggy packing boxes in danger of collapse. Simply checking the weather in advance would have allowed you to prepare dust sheets to avoid dirty, slippery floors. Believe me, it does happen. I've seen it. Also in need of solid planning is the terror of moving with children and pets. The kids are emotional about leaving, the dog is scared by the chaos, so ideally, if you can, ship them all off into the care of friends or family. If that's not possible, then maybe give the children a quiet corner with snacks and entertainment and put pets into travel boxes early in the day. You don't want to be searching for the lost family cat as night falls in your new home. My sixth scare scenario is the one where you thought you'd save money and move with the help of friends and family. But well-meaning as they naturally are, they're not professionals. Things move mysteriously in random order. You find a huge tear in the wallpaper, a big scratch on the TV, and doors fly open when they try to maneuver the wardrobe. Do remember, a professional removal company will have insurance. They'll know all the tricks of the trade. They do it every day. So do think carefully before taking money-saving shortcuts on a day as important as your moving day. But then, however professional your removal firm is, they can't call on black magic to resolve horror number 7. Furniture that won't fit through doors, or a bed that can't go around that tight bend in the staircase. Again, I've seen it happen. It's happened to me. It's a nightmare. Spare yourself the misery. Take a tape measure to your new home before you move. Check measurements. Talk to your removal company about any concerns well ahead of time so everybody is informed about it. My house moving horror number 8 is flimsy packing materials. Boxes that give way, bags that split, storage that spills over are all too common. So don't skimp on the stuff that will protect your precious possessions. It's a really important day and there's a lot of things that can go wrong. Talking of precious, whether it's Granny's vase or a prized medal collection or whatever it is, carefully pack anything valuable, either in monetary or sentimental terms, and take it with you, not in the removal truck. While you're thinking about potential damage during the move, have you made the fundamental error of thinking insurance is all down to the removals firm? Tip number 10 is checking that you've insured your possessions for the moment they arrive in your new home. Remember, a different postcode, different locks, or a different alarm system may actually make your current policy invalid. Worth looking into. At number 11 is the horror of a half-packed house when the removal guys arrive and you all stand there looking at each other wondering what's going on. They think you're packing, you think they're doing the heavy lifting. Do try and avoid this by being clear about who's doing what well ahead of moving day. Get your packing done in advance if you're doing it, or you may well have to pay for extra time if you keep them hanging around. Total nightmare and so easily avoidable. You will find a moving day checklist on the Move IQ website, which is, of course, supernaturally helpful. My 12th scare story is when you turn the key in the lock of your new home, the door creaks open, and what is that smell? There's mess everywhere, filthy carpets, dirty cupboards, and no way that you can unpack. But removal men wait for no one, and the van needs unloading. If the property is in a state, take photos, send them to your solicitor. They may be able to claw back cleaning costs, but there's no guarantee of that, but it's worth a go. I think it's best to manage your expectations, perhaps, and plan a deep clean for your new home before moving in, if you possibly can. At worst, nominate someone who can concentrate on preparing 1 or 2 rooms where you can at least place the boxes whilst the rest of the house is cleaned. And my 13th nightmare on your new street, the zombie. Trapped between the 2 worlds of your old home and new, you are waiting for the one thing that will help you inside to safety. What could it be? The key. Despite frantic calls to solicitors and agents, the seller still hasn't dropped off the keys. The removal team are looking at their watches and it's starting to feel like you won't be getting in today after all. If the vendor is too rude or too disorganized to be out on time, there's precious little you can actually do on the day. Tell your solicitor that you're going to incur additional costs, whether that be for overnight storage for your possessions or maybe even a hotel for you and the family. And you might be able to recoup the outlay, but it's a bit of a nightmare. But the best way to avoid the spectre of not getting in on completion day is actually clear communication in the run-up to that day. Avoid these moving day Halloween horrors by planning, getting a good professional removal firm, and maintaining good communication between your solicitors, estate agents, vendors, and buyers. Most of all, please don't have nightmares. We're here to help. So subscribe to this channel and check out the website for links to the professionals who can make sure you avoid moving day gone wrong.